Narrative story is a sequence of causally connected events selected and rearranged in a particular order strategized to engage the audience. As such, there are three common strategies to engage the audience: the surprise strategy, the mystery strategy, and the suspense strategy. Let me briefly introduce them and we will explain in detail in a while. The surprise strategy: the audience knows the same amount of narrative information as the characters. They will both be surprised by a situational irony. The mystery strategy: the characters know more than the audience. The audience is intrigued and feels a sense of mystery. The suspense strategy: the audience knows more than the characters as the characters are unaware of the incoming threat. This generates a feeling of suspense in the audience. Now allow me to explain in detail using some examples. In a surprise strategy, also known as Euripidean irony, it occurs when the audience knows the same amount as the characters. The audience, along with the characters, are taken by surprise in the situational irony. Situational irony occurs when there is a difference between what is expected to happen and what actually happens. Example 1. In the 1999 film Deep Blue Sea, in a scene where a highly intelligent shark traps the research team in an underwater facility, they lost hope. Despite this, Russell's inspiring speech gradually instilled hope into them. Their hopes are rising. What is expected to happen is that Russell seems to be the one who will lead them out of despair. What actually happens is that at the peak of Russell's speech, the shark devours him. Their hope vanishes instantly. We share a visceral reaction with our characters and this situational irony. Example 2. 2016 film Prill. In the pizza delivery man runaway scene, near the end of the chase, the man falls into the water, then climbs to the surface. Using his subjective perception, he carefully surveys the area to confirm that the threat has gone. What is expected to happen is that he is out of danger. But what actually happens is that the lion eats his head almost immediately. This situational irony is further exaggerated by revealing his headless corpse. Example 3. In the 2006 playground scene, the first child is attacked by the lion at the end of the slide. The second child is shocked to see this horrific sight. She struggles up the slide to escape from the lion, but is unable because the slide is too slippery. As she slides down, we fear that the lion may be waiting for her. However, it is a great relief that the lion is gone. The scene then pauses for a moment. An unsettling feeling surfaces again. When the babysitter springs to grab the child, we jumped. What is expected to happen is that the lion attacks the child. But what actually happened is that babysitter grabs the child to safety. In this situational irony, we experience something positive. A relief for the second child. In the mystery strategy, it occurs when the characters know something that the audience do not know yet. The audience feel a sense of mystery, wondering what is the character doing. In the 2019 film Crawl, in the shower room scene where Harley enters the shower room, we know she will arrive at a dead end. We believe she has made an unwise decision. The suicidal act of opening the door to let the alligator in leaves us scrambling and wondering what she is planning. In these moments, she knows something that the audience does not. We applaud her for her wisdom and courage when she escapes and traps the alligator. Having just enjoyed a strong-willed, quick-witted character, we were taken on a breathtaking escape that we will never forget. In the 2020 film Run, in the escape scene, she crawls out of the window with a soldering iron in one hand and a mouthful of water. During these moments, she knows something that the audience do not know yet. We wonder how she can get through the locked window of the other room from outside. After witnessing what she has done, we are impressed by this strong-willed and wise character who overcomes her impossible. In the suspense strategy, it originated from the dramatic irony called the Sophocles irony. It occurs when the audience knows something that the character does not. The audience sees the character's actions are not in their best interests. The audience is aware of the incoming danger, but the character is unaware of. As the audience is increasingly worried for the character, this generates the feeling of suspense, the one that makes you want to shout at the screen to warn the character. In the 2019 film Hotel Mumbai, in a scene where the police officers enter the hotel, the tellerists begin to notice them. As the audience, we know something that the main characters do not. The situation is so uncertain that it is like entering a minefield. They do not know that they will be massacred by the tellerists who are waiting. It makes us want to yell at the screen to alert them. In the 2019 film Hotel Mumbai, in the baby scene, there is a total opposite setup for suspense. Instead of making us want to yell at the screen to alert the characters, we hold our breath, watching them in total silence. The main characters and the audience know something, but the antagonists do not. The babysitter with the baby and the audience are aware of the threat, but the tellerists who pose the threat have no idea of the situation. We are worried about the victims being discovered and get killed. It becomes intensifying when the baby begins to cry. Although the babysitter is trying to contain it, we knew that it will probably explode at any moment. We experienced breathtaking moments of suspense. In the 1978 film Watership Down, in the migration scene, the audience knows something that the characters do not. One of the rabbits feels that something is wrong in their environment. The community should leave as soon as possible. At that moment, we don't know exactly what the thing is. In a later time, when land development is revealed on the billboard, we finally get it. Because the rabbits do not understand the human language written on the billboard, we feel glad for the rabbits who sense that something is wrong and decides to leave. However, we fear for those rabbits who decide to stay. This scene first arouses our curiosity, then provides a sustaining suspense. The plot seamlessly invites us to participate in the seeking for answers, but when the answers are found, it makes us very worried for the rabbits. An impressive story plot indeed. To apply the three strategy of engagement into a filmic narrative, we need to look at the relation between the three strategy of engagement and the two modes of filmic narration. Let's begin with understanding what is filmic narration. Narration is the process to determine the flow of the narrative information that will be presented to the audience. What can narration do? Narration processes the chronological story into a narrative story. You can simply say, narration transforms the chronology into a narrative. In the context of filmic narration, the three strategy of engagement can be realized using two dominant modes of filmic narration. They are the restricted narration and the omniscient narration. Warren Buckland explained in his book Film Studies and Introduction that restricted narration conveys the narrative information to the audience through one particular character, leading to a sense of surprise or mystery. In the case of surprise strategy, the camera is attached or restricted to a particular character. Both the character and the audience learn the same amount of narrative information at every moment in the story. When arriving at a situation irony, both will experience a surprise together. In the case of mystery strategy, the camera is also restricted to a particular character who is doing something that the audience do not understand at that moment, hence the sense of mystery. If the outcome of his or her action is positive, the audience will think that the character makes a smart move. If the outcome is negative, the audience will conclude that the character is foolish. Warren Buckland further explained that in the omniscient narration, the camera shifts from one character to another, conveying narrative information to the audience from multiple sources. This creates a discrepancy in knowledge between audience and the character. Hence, the audience knows more narrative information than any one character. This often creates a sense of dramatic suspense that causes the audience to worry for the character. As such, the suspense strategy best works in the mode of omniscient narration. At times, the camera may disengage itself completely from all characters, providing audience even more narrative information needed for dramatic suspense. In some, restricted narration works best with surprise strategy and mystery strategy. The omniscient narration works best with the suspense strategy. However, this is just a guide, not strict rule.